Hello.
What up?
Oh, that was really bright.
It's good?
Yeah.
Lighting is good? You do have that thing we could use as videos
Well,
go.
it would go on like there.
Yeah, yeah.
So this could be a part of the bloopers.
No, the part of the bloopers.
Trying.
No, we're supposed to give them the bloopers with the life. Hey.
Okay.
Hey.
So you told me to.
Yes,
From
I
real
want to
loud.
ask because there's a lot of questions that I have because I'm ready to learn some stuff, right? So I didn't write nothing down. I got everything in my mind. Thank the Lord I still have my brains intact. But the first question is how do you feel about religions? And that's what goes for you too. What religion or what spirituality do you claim, or are you atheist? Which is it? Talk. Whatever. I want to know.
I know.
You could talk about 369 manifestations, this, that. Am I spiritual? Christianity. You know what?
So,
And what did you grow up on?
I grew up on being a Christian, and we attended a Baptist church
Lean on it.
as well as a
You want to lean?
Presbyterian church.
I didn't know you went to Presbyterian.
I
Okay.
did. I didn't know I was going to that either until we went there.
Until they told
Because
you.
for the longest time we were going to Baptist church. Then it's been on and off growing up going to church. Then my mother would get involved in like women's groups and different types of like church groups. And that was while I was in high school, middle school and high school. Then it kind of like fell off, especially when I went to college. It fell off because I only went to like 2 different churches in Florida. What?
I want to do another topic. Okay, go ahead. Go.
So I would like to believe that I'm more spiritual than following a religion in a sense, because I don't believe. I don't even know if I'm saying that part right. You shouldn't have to go to church to know the word and to live through, experiences and understand the Bible and actually, act out the things that are asked of you in the Bible. Now, like I said, I'm not that religious. So if I'm saying things wrong, I'm not explaining it right, don't shoot me. But I'm being honest on how I feel about it. I shouldn't have to go to a church or to a 4-walled ceiling building and donate money and throw myself into people and into things in a church. It's in order for me to go to, heaven or wherever I'm supposed to go. I believe it's between me and the higher being, the person in the sky, other people would say. But I should read the Bible or read whatever I am interested in, whether it be the Quran or if I was Jewish, what is it, the Torah?
Yeah, Jewish Torah.
So
Torah,
whatever I would be involved in or want to be,
the Old Testament.
whatever I would want to be involved in, I should just be able to read that and follow it. And that's how I should live out my life. I shouldn't be judged because I didn't go to church or because I didn't go to a religious gathering. Because that always got me. My mother always said, you got to go to church, you got to go to church. Because she always had to go to church with my grandmother. And I was like, I don't think I have to. I think we should sit down and all discuss, things of the Bible and scriptures that may have worked for us that week or that can help us get out of any trouble. But I shouldn't have to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that just gets me that that's what I have to do in order to be considered a
Right.
child of God or to be considered to be invited into the kingdom.
Right.
There's other things in the Bible that I know I haven't even read, but I've definitely learned from this man right here that I don't need to do something like that. Now, I can go. I would go if someone asked me or if we wanted to one day, but I don't, it's not on my
Yeah.
thing to do every Sunday or Saturday because I know there's religions out there that go on Saturdays rather than Sunday.
So I wanted to touch on, okay, so the religious aspect of what you went through when you were a child and stuff and what you had to do then. So where are you from? What's your background like? What do you so what's your background? Where are you from?
Well, I am from New Jersey. I am of African.
Native?
I'm native New Jersey, and I am of African American descent mixed with German and Native American, and there's a mix of some other European things in there. But and also Puerto Rican through my grandmother's side. But what else did you want to know?
So where did you grow up in New Jersey?
North New Jersey and Edgewater, New Jersey.
Oh,
That's where
okay.
I can...
Yeah. Okay. Edgewater. Okay. So with that being said, that's your background all in a nutshell because I know there's a lot more to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the religious, heard you say higher being, and you believe in a higher being.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like you're a part of this higher being, or you just feel like there's a higher being that you have to answer to, basically?
Good question. I guess I would believe that I would part of a higher being that I have to answer to because I think where the spiritual part comes in is looking at the universe as what I'm connected to.
Mm.
And even though the higher being could be a part of the universe, I think I'm more in tuned spiritually through energy and the universe and what it gives off to us, because I do believe that what you put out there is what comes back. And we were talking about manifesting in 369 of that, so I think all that kind of goes together a little bit more than just praying to a higher being.
Mm-hmm. Right. So like you mentioned, and more like a golden rule.
Yeah.
Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm. So the higher being
Would be karma.
The higher being would definitely be someone to answer to.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he'd be the one on Judgment Day, like they say.
He
or she.
Or it.
Or it.
Whatever the energy.
Yeah, it could definitely be the one that does the Judgment Day part of everything, but then everything else is just connected.
I want to say something too. Another thing, as we're talking to each other, we could do this off camera. Anyway, it's good to get to know each other and talk regardless, as we do. But the thing is, I want our viewers to understand that, like what you said, my mother just went to church because her mother, your grandmother, went to church. Mm-hmm. And where did that church come into play? And where did the spiritual aspect, where did the religion come into play? Where did the food that we eat nowadays in America, the American diet, where did that come into play? Where did in this generation, we're in our 30s, so this generation, this age group, where did we get our mentality like the way we are? Because I could think of my father and his parents, my parents and his parents, and they seemed like a lot stronger people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And just like your parents and their parents, so were stronger, hard back laborers. you know, and the woman would take care of the household, cook, clean, and not complain. Nowadays, it's a different story in a lot of households, a lot more than it was back then. That's what I would say, you know, quick thing with that. But yeah, so I want our viewers to have an open mind about being your own person in order to question your own self and say, where did I get this look where Jesus or Yahweh Shai or Buddha or whatever religion, whatever you believe in, whatever spirituality, where did you get that from? Where did you get that from? Was it embedded in you when you were a child? Okay, did you just not know anything about anybody or any spirituality thing, and you just woke up one day in your 20s and said, wow, I'm gonna serve Jesus, you know? So it's more of an embedded thing. You grow up with it. You grow up with these things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I would say that.
So have an open mind and free spirit.
And I know with my mom, with her going in and out of church, you know, life takes you through so many different obstacles where you might turn your back on things, and then you find your way back to it and realize that it can help you. And I think my mom didn't turn her back on religion. She tried to find other ways to use it, and she tried to, I think, stick to what she believed in. And she has, you know, I think has done almost a 360 on things, because she's done her own Bible study, which is where I tried to point out to her at a younger age that,
I'm sorry,
you know, I want to do I want to do our own study. He'll do this a lot, you'll notice. So what I wanted to point out was that I could do my own little study and my own research and, you know, get my own understanding on my own, and then apply it and see where it's benefiting me or not benefiting me, rather than being in front of somebody else and being, you know, in a congregation trying to find it that way. And she did that, and it's not to say that I told her to. She did it all on her own, and when we had a conversation a few weeks ago, she told me about some things she read, some books, some separate things she researched, looked at, and she saw how it applied to her life, and she felt like so many things changed from those points on. So she definitely is a person. Yeah, she's definitely a person that was doing like kind of what she learned from her mother, because her mother was in the choir, was in church, was in everything, and then she wanted to apply that to me and my brothers. And my brothers definitely don't go to church. I know they have a belief system, but they don't go to church. I know they don't.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So.
Yeah, so it's just basically trying to, like you said, like your brothers they don't go to church. They have a belief system.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like that. They have a belief system where it may be just, a spiritual. They say I'm spiritual, but they don't know really what their spiritual, like, what is your spiritual, like, how do you say you're spiritual and you don't know? That's a real question. Like, how do you say you're spiritual but you don't pray, you don't do certain things to be spiritual? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can understand, like, people that meditate.
I feel like being spiritual doesn't have to be praying. Like, it's more in tuned. It's more, meditation would definitely be a part of spiritual in my eyes. It's more of showing your connection, learning.
How do you show your connection? Not to cut you off. How do you show your connection?
Between myself and a higher being? Yeah. The connection, meditation would be one of the connections, I would think. Another way would be
maybe drinking herbs to heal your body.
Herbs and
take care of yourself.
Yeah. Anything that I guess that puts you connection with earth and with nature.
Yeah.
Grounding.
That's good. That's good. All right, so that's yeah.
I feel like there's no full right or wrong answer to these. These are all personal beliefs on things and how you want to outlive your life and show,
right.
Show your part. I guess you could say.
Yeah, whatever works for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. I understand that. That's good that to know a person's perspective, because that's a lot of people.
Yeah,
that's a lot of people. We're not saying everybody, but that's a lot of people.
I feel like you have to before anything starts, before any religion, any spiritual search and journey, you have to kind of figure out yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You have to see inside first.
Yeah.
Who you are and what you're capable of and what you can handle and not handle is what I would think. Right. Because if you just jump into a religion or jump into something, you might feel uncomfortable, or you might not feel 100% in tune with it because you haven't settled yourself yet, is what I'm thinking. Because there are times that I would feel uncomfortable saying something that was so simple to somebody else in a religious aspect. So for an example, when people all the time say God bless you, blessings, there's a blockage for me, which means I'm not in tune with it. I'm not in tune 100% with myself or connected 100% with that religion to feel so free with that word. I haven't said it that much. And then there's been times when I've had a conversation with a person and actually felt the blessings that I need to share to them. And felt the words that I have to say to them because I feel it'll help them feel a certain way off of what they just said to me. An example for that would be I was in an Uber ride 2 years ago, and the guy was talking to me about his life struggle and how he got into Uber, and I'm just listening, and he just kept talking, and he was saying some very wise words, and it wasn't anything in it as an advice to me. He was just talking about his life and some things that happened and what he said. And when I got out the ride, I said, you have a very blessed day. And I said something else and goodbye, and goodbye. So the main thing out of that was that by me saying you have a blessed day, to me I felt like I had a slight understanding and feeling that I needed to tell him you need to be blessed. You need to have this. You need to go on, keep doing what you're doing, and it just felt more real and connected than any other time. And I've talked to tons of people in Ubers, not in Ubers, and wherever. Right. And that was one of the times where I actually felt like using the word and not feeling like, I don't know if I want to say it.
You felt comfortable with saying it.
Felt very comfortable. And I think that's the difference, that a lot of people, when they've reached parts of their journey, they get more comfortable with things, and they actually show through more happiness. They show more understanding, more comfort, more caring, more all these things that you wouldn't show any other time. Right. Because there's a blockage. So I'm being true to that part. I have a blockage when it comes to certain things. Doesn't mean y'all say, well, you got to go to church. No, then you did not hear anything I said before. What I need to do is read the Bible some more, and I need to have conversations like this with other people and open up my mind some more and understand that. I don't need to go sit in a pew, sing some hymns, and...
No, maybe sit in the woods with acid. That'll get you.
Open up these brains.
So I heard. Yeah, tap into different parts of the brain. But yeah, like you said, you don't have to sit in the front row and
Yeah.
listen to some guy with his hair slicked back and him shaking
Exactly,
the pot in your
because
face.
that may not help me. That
No.
just may let me hear what they have to say,
No.
and then try to see how it related to me that week. If the word he's giving is going to help me this week, because that's all you're doing. You're waiting for him to tell you what's going to help, what's not going to help,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
what help, what connected to something that happened last week, because that happens a lot.
Right.
You go there, you had a rough week, you go there and he talks about sacrifice.
Right.
And let's just say that week that just passed, you had to make a big choice at work, at home, a sacrifice. So it kind of goes together, and you're like, oh, I'm glad I made that decision, or I need to go back and rethink that because I got to sacrifice. That's really all that's happening. That's how I see it. But I can do that same thought in my head and that same going back and forth as I read a scripture, or as I read into, even if I'm reading a book on chakras, on the universe, on spirits, on anything like that, that I could get that same thought process going by just, it's just really just yourself. It's like you and the universe and the beings above. That's it. That's what I consider to be
like a spirituality.
Exactly.
Right. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Just read for yourself. That's basically what I was getting to also.
Yeah.
Read for yourself. Figure out things for yourself, for whatever works for you. And it's not like we're antichrist. I didn't get to say my opinion or my beliefs, my belief system, because all of it is really belief system. And we're doing whatever works for us. That's where people got disconnected. I feel, in my opinion, people got disconnected from being pushed into something.
Yeah.
Being born, not you can't even say pushed into it. You're being born into something. It's more like, since, like you said, I had to go to church because my mother went to church. Her mother went to church because her mother went to church, and it'll probably go up to back to slavery days. So we're speaking on a black, on a I don't like to say the word, we're speaking on a so-called black mindset. Okay, so we felt like it was good to go to church, learn about white Jesus and all this other stuff, and not to sound racist or anything, but it is a thing where now they're starting to take that out of the churches, because people like myself, like Valencia, are starting to become aware of, wait a minute, this ain't really right. All we see is white Mary, white Jesus, white Joseph, white this, white that, and all the saints. So you don't see one black person except the preacher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't see one black person but the preacher, and it's like, yo, man, it's speak for you. You got to think for yourself. We need more critical thinkers, not more. We need critical thinkers and more. Okay, the more you think, the more you get your mind running, the more you get in tune with your own self. And it is what you eat. It is what you put inside your body. That's a definite thing. You just can't eat bad food and expect yourself to be intellectual or, in tuned with an outer being or a higher being or the energy that's outside of this being. Like KRS-One brought up, he said, speak to yourself in your own mind, say the word rock star. Everybody was silent. They said the word rock star in their mind, and it's like, who did you hear? Who were you listening to? That's just like a friend of ours. He brought out the same thing. Like, who's that who's listening and who's talking? Who's talking? Who's listening? When you're not talking and physically talking and physically hearing, and that's a different perspective. That's a different thing on vibration, because now we're talking, which is a vibration, and we're hearing, which is a vibration, So, it's a lot to it. This is about religion, about how you feel, spirituality, and we got more videos coming, and I'm going to tell you my side of the story, next episode.
Okay.
All right?
Like
All
and
right.
subscribe.
Like and subscribe if you'd like. Please and thank you.